Before we begin, think about this for a moment. India can manufacture rockets, vaccines, missiles, towers, and pharmaceuticals. We can launch probes to the moon and supply life-saving drugs to the world. But when it comes to manufacturing t-shirts, shoes, toys, or simple household items, India consistently falls behind. Why does a country with one of the world's largest labor forces struggle the most in labor-intensive manufacturing? In this video, we break down 6 structural reasons and what the government is doing to fix each of them. Let's begin. Labor laws. One of the biggest reasons India struggles in labor-intensive sectors is its rigid labor laws. In India, if a factory has more than 100 workers, it cannot fire even a single blue-collar worker without government permission. This creates a huge incentive for firms to remain small. Today, nearly 85 to 90% of Indian manufacturing units employ less than 50 workers because once they expand, the compliance burden increases dramatically. But labor-intensive manufacturing depends on scale. Factories in Bangladesh, Vietnam, and China have 5,000 to 25,000 people working under one roof. Scale brings lower costs, higher productivity, and global competitiveness. In India, fragmentation leads to higher production costs and uncompetitive pricing. What is the government doing? In 2019, the government passed 4 consolidated labor codes designed to simplify hiring, firing, and compliance. But these laws have still not been notified, which means nothing has changed on the ground yet. High cost of logistics. India's logistics cost is among the highest in Asia. For low-margin products like t-shirts, even a tiny increase in logistics cost destroys competitiveness. A key issue is that goods trains in India run at an average speed of 20 kilometers per hour because passenger trains receive priority. Before GST, trucks stopped at every state border. After GST, border delays reduced, but toll booths, documentation, and compliance checks still slow down movement. Ports are improved, but India still lags behind global manufacturing hubs in speed and efficiency. In labor-intensive manufacturing, even a 3 to 5 rupee increase per unit makes exports uncompetitive. What is the government doing? Highways and expressways to reduce transportation time. Multimodal logistics parks to integrate rail, road, air, and waterways. Port modernization and the new port bill to improve port efficiency. Dedicated freight corridors allowing goods trains to run at 70 to 100 kilometers per hour without interference. These reforms are essential for lowering logistics costs. High cost of power. Power is a major input for manufacturing, and in India, industrial power is expensive. State-run discoms suffer huge financial losses due to theft, undercollection, and political interference in tariff setting. To compensate, they raise industrial tariffs. Another issue is Coal India's monopoly, which reduces competition and keeps coal prices high. Frequent power cuts force factories to use generators, further increasing manufacturing costs. For labor-intensive industries with tiny profit margins, high electricity cost makes production unviable. What is the government doing? Opening coal mining to private players. Privatizing discoms in several states to reduce losses and improve efficiency. These reforms will lower power costs over time. High cost of capital. Manufacturing requires borrowing, but MSMEs in India often take loans at 11% to 15%, much higher than competitors. High interest rates force firms to stay small, avoid risk, and avoid expansion, the opposite of what labor-intensive sectors need. Government action. The IBC has helped banks clean their balance sheets. Stronger NBFCs support MSME lending. PLI schemes offset some capital costs. Still, India lacks a low-cost credit ecosystem for labor-intensive sectors. High cost of land acquisition. Land is expensive and difficult to acquire. The Land Acquisition Act of 2013 requires social impact assessments, multiple approvals, 70 to 80% landowner consent, compensation up to 4 times market value, long litigation cycles. Large clusters, the backbone of textile manufacturing, become difficult to build. Government action. Industrial corridors like DMIC, land pooling in Gujarat and Haryana, plug and play industrial parks with pre-approved land. These help, but India still lags behind China and Vietnam in industrial land availability. High cost of compliance. For MSMEs, compliance is one of the biggest values. A factory must deal with labor law registers, attendance and wage documentation, PF and ESI filings, GST filings, fire NOCs, pollution control certificates, municipal permits, boiler and electrical inspections, environmental declarations. Many of these require physical inspections and paperwork, creating unpredictability and opportunities for corruption. When compliance is heavy, firms prefer not to expand. Government action. Jan Vishwas Bill 1.0 and 2.0 to remove redundant compliances. GST simplification and digitization. A national committee on deregulation. These are meaningful steps, though India still has one of the highest compliance burdens in Asia. These 6 structural barriers, labor laws, logistics, power, capital, land, and compliance, create an environment where large-scale, labor-intensive manufacturing becomes extremely difficult. This is why India excels in pharma, automobiles, software, steel, and refining, all of which are capital-intensive, but struggles with simple, high-employment sectors like t-shirts, shoes, toys, and consumer goods. Fixing these 6 barriers is essential if India wants to create millions of manufacturing jobs and become a global export powerhouse. If you found this explanation useful, subscribe to Periscope for more simple, structured breakdowns on India's economy and global competitiveness. And tell us in the comments, which of these 6 barriers do you think is the hardest for India to fix and why?